Movies with my best friend.
Welcome to Movies with My Best Friend Phil, a movie podcast that asks the fundamental question, can you dig it? I'm your host, as always, Phil Kessel, joined by two of my very best friends in the whole wide world. They live too far away from me, and it makes me sad. Will Chodas?
Hey, Phil, how you doing?
I miss you, man.
Yeah. You know, me too. I miss me too. I am great company most of the time. I find.
I would agree. Do you know who is also great company?
No one else comes to mind, to be honest with you.
Probably Rudy from the movie Rudy.
Oh,
Man, Rudy's the best.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. Also, I guess Craig Norman.
Yeah, speaking
He's
of Rudy,
kind of one of my best friends. Probably one of the oldest friends I have.
Here's the Rudy of this podcast. Craig
I'm
Norland's
the Rudy
here.
of this podcast. Yep.
He's the underdog that complains until he gets to take the field.
Yep.
Did we already do that bit?
The squeaky
Never seen
wheels
the
gets
movie.
the grease.
Okay. I don't know what that's from then. Somebody was talking to me recently about that movie and how he basically just complains until he gets onto the football field.
And he gets
He's just
injured
sad.
instantly.
Yeah. I don't know where to go with that.
Don't have dreams, folks. That's really the.
Don't have dreams, because as soon as you, oh my God, Craig, you have your Christmas tree up already.
Look at that. Look at that.
It's November
beautiful.
7th.
So
Yeah.
I came over to Craig's house, and I want to say, oh yeah, it was November 1st, and the Christmas
November
tree was
1st.
not there, and my summation of Craig went down a little bit. I have to say, I was disappointed in
But
you.
all the Halloween stuff was gone.
All the Halloween stuff was gone, but the Christmas tree was not up, and I was like, I thought this guy had some Christmas spirit. Apparently, not anymore.
I'm a real Scrooge.
Apparently,
I
not
guess
anymore.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere has all their Christmas stuff, so I guess 'tis the season. I'm not
Tis the
ready.
season.
We did have about a foot of snow
Wow.
last weekend.
Very
Oh,
cool.
It's all
Jeez.
gone. Was it
course.
last weekend? No, it was the weekend before. That was wild. Fitz was very cute, prancing around in the snow as you'd expect from a little pup. And he liked it, but he would get cold because he's kind of a skinny dog. Sheba is a
Aw.
snow dog, and I think Fitz likes the snow, but he's kind of a real scrawny guy. So we got him a jacket. We got him a jacket and then didn't get to use it, and then it was too big because he's gained at least 6 pounds as of a week ago
That makes
Wow.
sense.
from 2 weeks before that. I don't know how big he is now. Probably another 6 pounds. He's getting big.
So
It's wild.
I mean, time.
Kids and dogs, they grow
Yeah,
up
they-
and they learn to talk.
Jack, my son Jack's almost 6 feet tall now.
I've just been yelled at from the other room. He's gained 10 pounds since we got him. That was 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
So I've been meaning to ask you, Phil, how
Yeah.
does Sheba feel about being replaced?
Okay, I'm gonna try not to cry.
Well,
She does not like Fitz all that much. Mostly because he keeps jumping on her and she has a bad back. And she
Aw.
just wants him to stop, but she won't snap at him because she's too nice or too lazy. One of the two. She takes after
Too
me.
non-confrontational.
Yeah, too non-confrontational. She takes after me in that case. Yeah, she's about the same though with us. She hasn't really changed all that much. She just is annoyed by the small dog in the house.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Just desperately wants to play with her or eat her. I don't know.
It's both.
It's both.
It's both.
It's both. He's very mouthy. But we did get him a new treat toy today,
Okay.
and I took so many pictures and videos because I'm going to be that dog dad. Next time I see you guys, I'm just going to show you hundreds and hundreds of pictures of Fitz, my beautiful baby boy. I'm going to pretend like he's my child because I know that's going to annoy someone, possibly somebody on this podcast.
Yep.
Also my brother.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. I love me.
You got
I'm
big.
realizing by the way that you described showing off your dog this way and comparing it to how people show off their kids, I'm realizing that, well, I'm wondering, am I ashamed of my children? Because I don't do that at all. Like, show them off.
I don't think you're. Well, you don't. I only show my kids off very seldom, and it's like when someone at work asks about them.
You tell us about them.
Sure.
Which
But, like-
is verbally audio.
But there's
Just
you
a
know the
different
people
sense
that
modem.
there's that people who are constantly like, oh, look at what little Richie did today, and just like
Yeah, that
constant.
Because I
that
think
can
it's because
sometimes be too far.
I
and that's
remember.
going to be me.
Yeah.
It fits.
I think it's because I remember what it was like when people who had kids showed me pictures of their kids. And I remember my reaction was almost always, I don't want to see this. This isn't interesting.
Well,
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 is he playing Kingdom Hearts yet? Because otherwise, I do not care.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even then, I
well-
don't know if I'd care.
yeah. Even then,
I remember one of the first times you came over to my house and
Mm-hmm.
my kids were just there, and you're like, haha, little people, okay.
Yeah.
You were so uncomfortable.
No, yeah. I the first time I met Peter, it was weird because it was at the grocery store, and you were at the grocery store, and it was like a week after we had reconnected via the group we used to be a part of, and I shook Peter's hand, and he was like 4.
Yep. That makes sense.
I was
okay.
like, "It's nice to meet you, Peter," and I shook his hand, and he just kind of looked at me like, "Huh."
Yeah.
This has
I
never
feel
happened
like-
before.
Okay, I feel like that can be smoothed over with like that's silly. Jack and I met some people out here that are friends of friends, and when we met them the first time, I shook the dude's hand. We just met at a like distillery, just friends of friends. We were meeting on like a friend date,
Mm-hmm.
and I shook his hand.
Yeah.
And then I said, I don't know why I did that.
You know, if
We-
you just shook his hand, it would have been fine, but you
Yeah.
had to
I
say
had
the
to
other
say
thing.
something.
Oh.
Everyone had to recognize how weird it was that I did that. We weren't at work.
I
It
don't
was
know.
great.
I guess how much older than you was he?
Exactly the same age.
Okay, yeah, then that's weird. Yeah. I only
Yeah,
shake.
yeah,
It's only when I meet like anyone who's like roughly my dad's age or a few years younger that I'm like, "Good to meet you, sir. How you doing?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is why it was so f***ing weird.
Well, I mean, handshaking has kind of gone out of style in the last couple of years anyway.
Yeah, it's right, and it's also
Yeah,
just like
that's-
a weird like. I've always had a lot of anxiety about the handshake because you always are like, I'm going in for the handshake, and the other person's like, I'm going in for
Ugh.
the fist bump, and you're like, but I already put out the handshake, so now I need to correct to your fist bump. Okay, so now we're just doing the fist bump. Okay, but now I feel like I was the one who misread the situation, but it was you, or you go and you grab somebody's hand and you just get the fingers.
Oh,
I
that's
know.
what I did to your dad.
Really?
Yeah, I accidentally got
Heyo.
I clasped too soon,
That's fun.
and then he was just like, "Oh, there we go." I was just like,
Yeah.
"Ah, God, why is this every interaction
Oh,
I've ever
man.
had with a?"
But at
an
least he
older
like
person.
called it out and was like, "Whoop, okay,
Yeah.
there we go, we got it." You know,
Yeah.
and not like when you've like you're holding this other person's hand or they're holding your hand in that awkward limp finger way, and you're both
Yep.
making eye
Yep.
contact.
Yep.
And the both,
Yep.
and you can see in their eyes, they know how weird it is, but they're not correcting it, and you can't correct it
Yeah.
because it's them squeezing your hand.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what to do.
I'm very, as you can tell, I'm very uncomfortable right now. That's why my hands are just kind of like,
I have
uh,
little baby boy hands. They're very small. So
Mm-hmm.
I have the added problem of like my hand sometimes doesn't fit right, like around an adult man's hand or an adult woman's hand. So I go in to shake and it's just like they're holding hands with a little baby boy, and it's awful. And my industry does still handshake, and
Yeah.
it's terrible, and I hate it. And then it's like, I'm not trying to like destroy your hand, but also I'm trying a little bit. You got to know how strong I am.
I was about to say, like, that's the thing I always run into is like, I'll see somebody who's like about my height, a man, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got to go for the firm handshake. And then I just like go in and crush this person's hand.
Yeah.
And
And they're not doing anything. They're just like, what the
and they're
hell?
just like,
They just
let
look at you.
do
They're
it.
like, I have brittle bone disease.
And you just like
Yeah.
feel their two knuckles kind of rub up against each other and kind of, you're like, oh, whoops. I've done that
I
one
was
a lot.
born with glass bones.
I
My
have
poor
bonitis.
hands. Yeah. So anyways, no, let's not shake hands anymore. I'd be okay if it was all gone.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, you know what we
Yep.
could do is like exchange like a card.
Yeah. You
that
know what?
You could. Where would you?
What we could do is when we walk
I don't want to
up to
just
each other,
loose in my pocket.
I think I know what you're getting at, Phil. I
Yeah.
think when we walk up to each other, instead of grasping hands, we just slip each other's hands into the other person's back pocket. So we're both doing it at the same time in
Oh.
sort of an embrace,
Yes, and then you can see
Mhm.
what's up.
and then
You
we
know?
can see what's up. And then you could pull something out if you wanted to.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
like I would pull something out of their back pocket, and
Yeah.
they would pull something out of my back pocket.
Sometimes the front pocket.
Sometimes, because I'm a front pocket wallet.
I'm a front pocket guy too.
Wait, I said the thing.
You blinked. That's right. It's the segment where we reach deep into our best friend's pants and whip out some recommendations. It's what's in your wallet. Craigerton. Why don't you go first? I could
Yeah,
use.
why don't you go first?
Yeah,
Huh?
okay.
Yeah, you do it. You know,
You ever think about that?
I'm in the mood for an exciting story, so we'll end with Phil. So Craig, you go first.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll start with the lamest of them all.
First, the worst.
Second, the best. Third, the nerd.
Third, the Thunderbird. Remember when people used to say that, and I'd be like,
Nope.
"What was that?"
No.
Oh, that must have been just my brothers and I.
Yeah.
No, ours was first, the worst. Second, the best. Third, the nerd. And I don't think we had anything else.
I think it was
Fourth,
third the
the-
turd on my end.
What third? The
Oh.
what?
Third the turd.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh wow.
Fourth, the. Oh yeah,
Fourth.
that ends it. There's nothing that rhymes with fourth.
Yeah. So
Poureth this cup. Does that work?
nope. Fill up my cup.
All right, Craig.
All right, I got a recommendation for a game,
Hmm.
and that game is called The Messenger.
Hmm.
And have you guys ever heard of this game at all? It's been out for a couple of years.
Maybe it's a very generic sounding title.
I know, that's the whole thing. So, it's kind of a Ninja Gaiden.
Wait, I didn't answer yet.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't think I've heard of it.
Okay.
worth it.
It's like a NES. It's like one of those retro pixel graphic
Mhm.
releases.
Cool.
But there's a lot of those games, and I feel like a lot of them don't really hit that. This is what it felt like to play these games back then. They're just like, oh, this is popular because of Shovel Knight, so we're going to release a lot of games that are like this, but they are not actually good. But this one succeeds because the gameplay is a lot like Ninja Gaiden. It's challenging without being like ludicrously challenging, and it's also got a lot of Metroidvania. So for people who don't play an annoying amount of video games for their whole lives,
I have a question about the
yeah.
Ninja game because I've never played it. Where
Yeah.
is? Wait, have you played the games?
Which games?
The Ninja ones.
Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Well, maybe you can answer. Where is the Ninja Gaiden U2?
I'll mute him. It's all right, Craig. Keep going.
Oh
I'll
my
just mute
God.
him. It's all right.
Phil, why must you do this to all my recommendations?
I don't know. I have a problem.
You do have a problem.
I've got
So-
funnyitis.
The
better
mute
than
button seems to
bonitis.
be broken. I need to get onto that.
So anyway, people who haven't played video games forever like I have, Metroidvanias are it's a combination of the games of Metroid and Castlevania, where you're going through a bunch of different rooms, and certain pathways will open up once you defeat certain bosses or get certain items. And so it's a lot of backtracking, but it's a lot of like treasure hunting and stuff. So I enjoy those games a lot. They're some of my favorite games. And so this is quite a bit like that. So I would highly recommend it. And the best part is
Of waking up.
like you think the game's over and then it just keeps going and you start traveling back and forth through time. When you go to the future, instead of it being 8-bit, it's now 16-bit.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
So-
cool.
And so not only does the visuals change, but the music changes too, and it is just like playing a Sega Genesis again. It's insane. So I recommend it just for that nostalgia factor, and then it's just also a great game in general.
Yeah,
That
I
sounds
actually,
awesome.
it's one of those games where I see on sale all the time on like the Nintendo Switch, and I go, am I gonna pick this one up? It's only $2 right now. And then I like look at the thousands of indie games in this exact style that I already bought and have barely played, and I'm like, well, I'll buy it.
I usually like to have a game that, because I'll usually have like one or two games that I'm currently playing,
Yeah,
but one of them is almost always like a pick up and play
Yeah.
fast.
yeah.
And that's one of those games. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of save points. I can just play for a few minutes and I'm done.
Have you
And so-
either one of you guys played Vampire Survivors?
Oh yeah,
No.
it's great.
Oh man, it came out.
It's like Alien Shooter.
It's just it's one of those like
Ooh.
games that is it feels like there's not a lot of gameplay at first because like your character auto attacks, you know? But once you start but every time you level up, you unlock a new sort of ability or item or something like that.
Mhm.
And by the end of your run, like you just have like a crazy amount of like shooting fires and like all these like different things. It is so addicting to play. It's on the Switch, but it's also free on mobile. So that's a mini
Yeah,
recommendation.
Phil, I think you would love that game.
I mean, it's free to check it out. I
Yeah.
played it on the phone, and I hate playing games on my phone. I had just heard a lot about this, so I like played it, and then I immediately stopped, and I was like, no, I need to buy this on a console because I actually really want to play this. Yeah.
and the best part, there are no vampires.
I love that.
Oh,
all the monsters that there are no vampires.
Yeah.
It's called Vampire Survivors.
Oh, you should hear the story of how the guy made Vampire Survivors. He was like, it was like literally just like him just goofing off. He bought a bunch of like random, like super cheap sprites, and like half of the things he put in there was like just as a joke because he thought it was kind of funny, and he knew it was gonna be bad, or like because there's certain items in the game that are like trash, and he's like, yeah, no one's gonna like this one. I put it in there because I thought it was funny. And it's just. I don't know. It's a good game. Anyways, that's not my recommendation. But
What is your recommendation?
me?
Yeah.
My recommendation?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe you asked me that, Phil.
I know.
Loki. This show on Disney
Oh.
Plus. I like it.
Okay.
I don't know if I recommended the first season, but I'm going to recommend that and the second season. Yeah, I really like the show. Obviously, if you're not a Marvel fan, this one is not the one to just sort of jump into because it's like a character. It's a spin off of the last Avengers movie where a version of Loki starts traveling through time. But what I like about it is while it's called Loki, it's not really about Asgard and all that. It's about this place called the TVA, which stands for Time Variance Authority or something like that. It's very Fallout in its aesthetic. And I also I love the costume designs of the people in the TVA because it's like regular, like they're wearing like suit and ties, but if you like look closely, you'll notice like the lapel is like, instead of it ending like where it normally does, it goes all the way down, like under the armpits and stuff. And like where suits normally have like the lapel that like goes in, it goes out I don't know. It's all very interesting, very cool. Owen Wilson is great. The second season is almost done. I don't think it's as good as the first season. I thought the first season was like, it was just like every episode was like crazy good. And the second season, I feel like overall it's good, but on an episode to episode basis, it's not as, but it does have, oh no, I forgot his name. Short Round.
Ki Kwan.
What's that?
Ki
Kwan.
Yeah, Ki Kwan's in it. He plays Ouroboros, and he's great. So it's just cool that he's in it as well. I don't know. Have either one of you guys watched that show at all?
I watched the first season.
I watched the first season. I have been feeling so unmotivated to watch anything Marvel
Oh, yeah.
in a while.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I watched was Guardians 3, which was very good, but like I didn't watch Secret Invasion.
We skipped that one because
Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel
so-
was good.
Yeah, I thought Miss Marvel was good. It also felt a little bit like, I was like, oh, this is clearly for teenagers, so it just feels a little juvenile to me. But I was like, but I'm not a teenager, so that's probably okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the new Marvels movie is coming out. What?
What?
Phil, are you listening? We're
Yes.
recording the podcast right now.
I'm
Are you just-
absolutely listening.
Did you just download Vampire Survivors on your phone?
No.
You did.
No. You were talking about Owen Wilson. Wow.
All right, Phil, what's in your
No,
wallet?
listen, I was listening. You were talking about Loki season 2. You said it's not quite as good as the first. I listened to the whole thing. I just also, the game doesnn require a lot of attention.
Yeah,
You just move around.
you need some attention though. Okay, anyways. God, I really regret naming this Movies with My Best Friend Phil because I can't fire you. All right, it's your turn. Phil, what's in your wallet?
Is it
All right.
Vampire Survivors?
So I have been playing this video game for about a minute and a half so far,
Shut the
and it's pretty fun. Listen, look at my hands. They're up. I'm not playing the game anymore.
Too late.
I just wanted to try it. You guys said I would like it, and it was fun. I enjoyed the little bit I played. No, I have a pretty good recommendation that you guys already got the recommendation for.
Is it?
but
Is
this
it?
for
Let me
everyone.
guess. Let me guess. Let me guess
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a breeze you felt early in the morning on a Sunday.
Listen, so this pup wakes me up very early because having a puppy is in some ways like having a child.
What's weird is he hasn't said it's not that yet.
Well, so I'm getting to it. This isn't my recommendation, but let me tell you, the sunrise is pretty. It's really hard to be mad that I have to get up so early for the puppy. When I walk outside and the sky is just like pink, orange, blue in this like really pretty. It's pretty.
You
know?
know who we are, right? Like, you know what our lives are.
Yeah.
Like, we have little children in the morning. There's nothing
Yeah.
joyful about mornings anymore. All joy of mornings
Yeah, but
is gone.
what about the sunrise?
Oh, who
It's
gives
pretty.
a
It's pretty. That's not my recommendation, but like also it is pretty. I recommend taking a look at it someday.
Yeah, sure.
No. Scavenger's Reign. This is a TV show on HBO or
Ooh.
Max, as the kids are calling it these days. It is a animated sci-fi show. And you're following like I think at the beginning you're following like 3 or 4 different stories from this crew that has crash landed on this planet. They give you no information out the gate about like how it crashed, how anyone. You're just like a couple of months into their survival, and it just starts, which is awesome. I love that. So it started out, it hooks you. The animation is really cool. It's got like very simple comic book style animation. The planet that they are on, the like world that the writers put together, is maybe the most alien world I have ever seen in anything at all. It's got some like I mean, there's a ton of inspirations, and I was reading an article about all of them, and it's just like it's the reason it's so good is just that it's like they're taking from like live action stuff, they're taking from non-sci-fi, they're taking from Miyazaki, they're taking from everything to make it, and the stories that they're telling are super cool. The alien planet again is just so fundamentally alien. It's so strange how like the creatures on it work, and there are so many like creatures with like a weird symbiotic relationship. And then I think there's 12 episodes total, only 9 have aired. I'm all the way caught up, and I really feel like it has a very fun, and by fun I mean not good like punchy, what's the word, not punchy,
floppy,
scathing indictment of like how we consume resources without it being like you're not getting hit over the head with it. There's just something like, as I've been watching, there's just something interesting about like these survivors that we're supposed to be following. So they're kind of the protagonist, but you're watching them on this alien planet, and I've never seen anything like this show. It's my new favorite thing. I'm absolutely obsessed with this show. It's so good. It has inspired me a little bit to keep working on Pistol or Stamen.
Oh, cool.
And man, it's up there for me in terms of like, this might be one of my favorite sci-fi things I've ever consumed in media.
Is it nuts. Half an hour or an hour?
They are half-hour episodes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I as you were talking, I pulled up the trailer and just to see some of the visuals, and I was like, when you said Miyazaki, I was like, oh man, I'm getting Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind.
They mentioned Nausicaa specifically in that article I was reading about their inspirations. Man, it is so cool. It's this weird, hypnotic, trippy, but not beyond the Black Rainbow trippy, like good fun trippy. That's not kind of a bad movie. Oh man, it's good. It's really, really good. I'm gonna be so sad if there's only 12 episodes. But hopefully, if I rewatch it enough, they'll make more content like this. Because I don't know if there's anything quite like this. I love it. It's called Scavenger's Reign. It's on HBO Max.
How do you spell rain?
REIGN, like Reign of Fire, the movie with dragons. That doesn't make it any clearer, but that's the first thing I came up with. Because that makes it sound like it's the... Anyways, it's really good. You two should watch it and then talk to me about it. And then also U2 the band should... I want to hear Bono's opinions on the... Actually, I'm a little more interested in The Edge and what he has to say about this, because The Edge.
You know what, Phil, you're such a big U2 fan. Why don't you tell me what you think the other members of the band, and tell me their names specifically, how they'd feel about it.
Yeah. So you got Drum Guy.
Yep.
And then his brother, Bass Guy. They're both last name Guy.
That's right.
Obviously, two different first names, because you don't name your kids the same first name. That'd be silly. And then fifth guy. Not a brother. It's just it's a weird coincidence. Is one of their names Jaren?
I think it's I think it's like Larry
Sequin.
Something, and then Mullen.
Larry.
Of
course it is. It's Larry drums, Larry bass, and Larry fifth guy.
Larry. I'm just gonna look at. Larry Mullen and Adam Clayton. There we go. I would have never gotten
Not
Adam Clayton.
I'm sure The Edge has an actual name.
He does. It's The Edge.
Perfect. That's perfect. Listen, everyone should watch this and then talk to me about it.
Okay.
And then quit all your jobs and we'll just talk about this show for a living. I love it so much. I just want to kiss it.
Speaking of kissing, we watched a movie.
Sure.
Yes. The movie did have kissing in it.
That's true.
So that's a valid segue.
So we watched The Warriors, which is a 1979 American action thriller film directed by Walter Hill and based on Sol Urich's 1965 novel of the same name. It's starring Michael Beck, James Remar, Deborah Van Valkenburg, Marcelina Sanchez, David Harris, Tom McKitterick, Brian Taylor, and Dorsey Wright. It is 92 minutes long, $4 million budget. It made $22.5 million. How do you think this did on Rotten Tomatoes, boys?
Okay, this is tough because I don't know. I don't know how they count up because I know this did really bad. Well, obviously, it didn't even make its budget back, but like
It made its budget back.
Yeah.
oh, you said it made 20. I thought it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I'm gonna say, I don't know where to go with this one. 79.
What do you got, Craig?
I'll do 87.
Craig has it 88.
Yeah.
That's how it did on Rotten Tomatoes with an audience score of 88.
99? Oh,
Exactly the same.
fair enough.
Yeah, so I picked this movie.
Yeah,
I
why
picked it
did you pick this movie?
Yeah, why did I pick this movie?
Yeah,
Well,
why did you pick? Why
I
did
was
you
talking
pick this
to a
movie?
friend of mine, and he gave me a list a while ago of movies that he was like, "Oh, you guys should do this on the pod," and I wrote a lot of them down, and then I forgot about it, and then I forgot it was my week, and so when we were like, "Will, what are we gonna do?" I quickly pulled up my notes app, and this was the first thing that popped up, and one of the things on it was The Warriors, and I had heard that was a movie. So I said,
Mhm.
let's watch The Warriors. I mean, that's partially it. Also, the other one on the list was Roadhouse, and we kind of had a conversation. We were like, oh, let's do The Warriors. So maybe next time it's my turn, we'll do Roadhouse or something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is always one of those movies that like I feel like people quote and talk about as far as like an influence. It's one of those movies that like if you hear anyone talk who's of like, you know, slightly younger than boomer age, maybe Gen X age, they saw this movie and loved it. It's not necessarily one of those movies that I would hear it as like an example of like perfect cinema or anything like that. So it kind of like lives in that weird pop culture world of it
It's
being
a cult movie.
yeah, like kind of like a cult movie, like a sleeper hit kind of classic. So I just was like, yeah, let's just check it out. And I'd be curious to hear, Phil, how what did you think of this movie?
Me?
Oh no, not you. Sorry, I meant to say
Oh.
Craig. Craig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
not you. I don't care what you have to say.
'Cause
Craig,
I didn't
what-
watch it, so I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense. Craig, how did you feel about this movie?
I liked it pretty well. You know, it's one of those we talked a lot over this film,
Yeah.
at least at the beginning.
Yeah. There's not a ton of
And
dialogue though, so
There's
it
not a
wasn't
ton
like,
of
yeah.
dialogue, and the plot is very easy to follow.
Yeah, which I
So-
think is to its credit. I think that I like movies that have very simple plots, at least
Yeah.
like just because you know, movies aren't very long, so the more complicated your plot ends up being, you know, and I don't mean that like, you know, complicated versus complex. You know, you can have like a deep, meaningful movie that's like very simple, you know, and which is
Yeah.
what I thought this movie was. It was basically like 9 guys in enemy territory have to find their way home. You know, that's pretty simple. Yeah.
Well, for the listeners who didn't watch the movie, the plot is very simple. All it is we're in a near future dystopia where New York is basically mostly gangs now, but the gangs are all
So imagine a world where everyone is a Gotham City henchman and there are no supervillains. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Like, so everyone is walking around dressed as penguins or jokers or like some other ridiculous thing, but there's no big super bosses and no Batman.
Yeah.
And everyone does it with a straight face and takes themselves very seriously.
Yeah.
So all
You
the
got to be
gangs,
a heavy gang.
Yeah, all the gangs get together, and who's the
Cyrus.
Cyrus is the kind of the Messiah.
You dig it?
Yeah, that's
dig it.
He's
I
like
liked him.
preaching peace and unity among the gangs, and
Okay,
we shouldn't fight
hold up.
anymore.
We got to stop right there because by peace and unity, Craig means taking over all of New York.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
basically saying like, hey, did you ever notice that there are more of us hooligans than there are cops?
Yeah.
What do you say? We kill all the cops.
I didn't say peace and unity for everyone. I meant for them.
True. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But things go bad very quickly because at the big meeting, this other gang decides that they're going to kill Cyrus, and so they shoot him, but then they blame it on the Warriors. And so the Warriors have to get all the way back to Coney Island where their hideout, or where they're stationed.
Their territory is. And the thing is everyone who came to this summit was only allowed to bring 9 guys and no weapons. So the Warriors are like deep in enemy territory. They need to get home with only 9 dudes and no weapon. So
yeah,
very dangerous situation for them. And yeah, that's the whole movie from there.
Yeah. So, like I said, the plot is pretty simple. It's mostly just seeing them, how they react to running into all these different gangs, and then the police are after anyone who is wearing gang stuff, and nobody in the gang will take off their colors because they're too prideful. So you
That
can't
one
exactly
makes sense
just
though, because I never take my colors off.
It's true.
Yeah. So in general, I would say that I liked it. I feel like I need to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
To maybe fully appreciate it or just cement my feelings. But I can definitely see how this is an influential movie, especially to like John Wick, where you have to buy into this reality that
it's like hyper reality.
Yeah, hyper reality where they're like with John Wick, especially the sequels, it's like there is a unlimited amount of assassins that live in this world, and they will just come out of the woodwork and they'll all attack you. And they have this network and people that are like, well, this person's not incommunicado, however they said it in the movies. And so that means that people can kill them. Whereas in this one, you have a DJ lady who's basically saying, hey, everyone kill the Warriors.
The Chief from Carmen Sandiego.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, I heard the voice for a split second, and I was like,
yeah,
that's got to be the Chief from Carmen Sandiego. And I looked it up,
that's great.
Like, that's the Chief from Carmen Sandiego.
That's so funny because she was speaking, and I was like, why does she feel so familiar to me? And I was like, it must just be like she must just be speaking in a way I've heard before. I don't know, but yeah, that's. Which I loved her character in that way of delivering sort of exposition and stuff. Is every once in a while we'd get a break from the action and it would just be this DJ, and we never saw her face. We just saw her mouth speaking into a microphone and just sort of like giving this sort of like slightly coded but not that coded like instructions to the gangs of New York on what to do next.
No, Gangs of New York is a different movie. That's Daniel Day-Lewis.
That's all right. I'll leave. I've embarrassed myself too much.
Yeah.
But in general, it's one of those times where I was so focused on what was happening in the movie, I wasn't really looking at how it was being shot necessarily. It's a movie that takes place almost 100% at night, except for the very end.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they had filmed, if you watch the TV version, there's a couple different versions of this movie. If you watch the TV version, they have a beginning part that's during the day at Coney Island that kind of sets up a few things, but they're like, that's a little too jarring to go from day and then it's night forever and then back to day at the very end. So I agree with that cut.
Yeah.
So Yeah, there's definitely some parts that didn't age super well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's the 70s, so
Yeah, it's also like they're gangs. They're not
They're
gonna
gangs.
be PC.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be nice. So like it's not like it is jarring
So-
in the sense, like it's not bad in
Yeah.
the sense that like unrealistic at least. But yeah, it's
that's
like
true.
There's
you don't need to be
there's-
dropping F-bombs like that.
Oh yeah, there's that, and then there's also like the guys are very aggressive towards women, but to be fair, they're also very aggressive towards the men that they meet.
Yeah.
but
They'll
not
probably
in
kiss
a
both.
not in a much less rapey way. And there is one character who does try and sexually assault a woman, and he gets arrested by the cops. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Immediate comeuppance.
I never thought in this movie I'd be rooting for the cops, but I am.
Yeah.
Wow. Warriors, you're surprising me.
New York City police officers in the 70s.
Are the good guys in this?
Interesting.
How? Who would have thunk it? Phil.
So, Phil, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, how'd you feel about this movie?
Yeah, I can totally, this is one of those movies I can totally see why this is a cult classic. I can also see why it bombed
Right.
when it first came out. Like,
Well, it didn't bomb.
well, it just didn't critics didn't like it.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Initially.
There was a lot of controversy around it.
Yeah.
That's another. I don't think critics disliked it. I think like everyone's parents hated it. I think it was one of those
Yeah.
movies where like
that makes a lot of
adults
sense.
and like the Fox News types were all like conservatives were like, this movie is terrifying and it's going to cause children to run in the streets and do riots and things like that.
It's going to cause them to paint their
it's-
face like zombies and pick up baseball bats.
Right. It's glorifying violence and all that. And it wasn't a flop because all the kids who are the ones who see movies anyways,
Yeah.
went and saw it and all thought it was great. So it had a lot of controversy when it came out because I think, man, I was reading somewhere that they had to shut it down at one point because it did lead to some.
Well, yeah, they had gangs coming in and causing problems, and so they stopped. A lot of theaters stopped
Which
showing
gangs?
it.
Was it the Lizzies?
Haha.
Yes,
Or was
the
it
Lizzies.
the
Yeah, the following
Rogues.
weekend, the film was
Gramercy
linked to
Riffs.
sporadic outbreaks of vandalism and 3 killings.
Oh,
Mhm.
yikes.
So,
And they had
whoops.
I mean, just a little bit into the production, they had a lot of problems during it. They had to pay a gang to protect them because they're shooting in New York, so
right.
they had actual gangs coming and trying to like interrupt things, and so they had to get so much security. I'm sure that was like a lot of their budget was trying to keep the gangs away from them.
So
Yeah.
I was just looking at a quote that I think who said this. Let me look it up real quick. Walter Hill, who's the director, said was
Mhm.
basically like, I think the reason why this movie had so much violence around some of the screenings is because it was very popular with people who were in gangs. And people who were in gangs would go to theaters and look across the aisle and see their arch rivals.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
start fighting each other. So it wasn't. Yeah,
I mean, if I saw my arch rival in a movie
Right,
theater,
yeah.
I'd probably beat them up.
yeah. So it's sort of an interesting. To me, this feels like exactly this movie is like it's got like all of those like faults of like sort of like white dudes who like sort of like standing around going like, I understand this culture, or like I want to show this culture, and then like when they actually like create it, they're sort of like having to now deal with the repercussions of what they've done, and it's sort of like anyways. I don't think we really got Phil your full reaction.
Yeah. So I totally see why it's a cult classic. I think it's probably not a cult I would join. However, I did like the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not madly in love with it. I think I loved the like universe that they created, the reality that they
Yeah.
swept me up in. I think as a movie, I feel like the acting was maybe not so great, or
No.
the dialogue, one or both. So that was kind of hard to watch sometimes. But it is also like younger
Mhm.
people, and I feel like
A lot
younger-
of really young actors who
like
I
it's
think-
like their first role or like early roles.
the only person who I could tell went on to do anything else was actually the Ajax, who's the guy who got arrested by the cops. He went on to play Dexter's dad in
Oh yeah,
Dexter.
yeah. Oh, and Luther.
Luther.
Is like relatively like you've seen him.
Which one
He's
was
in
Luther?
Twin Peaks.
The bottles,
villain.
Clinky Bottles villain guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's definitely been in stuff. But yeah, all the other ones, it was like this. It was a one and done for so many of these people, and it unfortunately it shows. Like it's like the performances aren't all the best, but like there's also something about it that I was just like, I still love this. I still am really enjoying the movie as I'm watching it. It's like a fun reality that they've built. Craig, you hit the nail on the head. Like similar to John Wick, where like there's this whole reality you have to like suspend disbelief for, and it's that these goofy gangs. And I think it's also kind of nice because like there are gangs, and like these gangs are violent, but they only just like hit each other, and then nobody's like dead except for Cyrus. So it's like
Yeah.
it's violent, but like not in the way that it's like safe violence.
It's
almost.
it's a little bit na.
Yeah. It's a little West Side Story.
Well,
It's a little Jets Sharks.
The
Yeah.
funny thing is the author of the book was trying to get away from that romanticized view of gangs, especially because of West Side Story.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a much more violent version of this movie if they remake this at any point,
Yeah.
which they have talked about
I
doing.
mean, this movie is
the Russo
way more
brothers.
violent than West Side Story. Like West
Oh,
Side
for
Story,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
they
Just, like,
hold hands
there's-
and do pirouettes while fighting
like-
each other.
I don't
there's
know.
like a
There might be more
peppering.
dead bodies in West Side Story.
You're right. There might
Yeah,
be more
technically
death, for
we
sure.
only know
Technically.
of one
Yeah. But that
death.
doesn't
And then, we can assume Luther is dead, so we know of 2 deaths. I think it's safe to assume Luther dies. Spoiler alert.
Luther, the
Um,
Warriors leader, the one who gets hit by a train.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So we've
So
got
I guess this one has
there's
more.
like 4
But for the
45
amount of violence
definite.
in it, like violence per
proportionally.
minute, it's got a low
Yes.
body count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Proportionally not fatal violence.
Yeah.
Just broken bones and bruised egos.
So
And gunshot holes in houses.
yeah.
What do you got, Will?
What do you
So,
got, Will?
I was just gonna say, like, when it comes to like sort of like fantasy, sci-fi, like different world type movies, I find that there are 2 routes to go. There's either the like self-awareness sort of route that kind of like the Marvel stuff does, and in a certain way, like sort of, that like sort of soft fantasy stuff where like the characters sort of all know they're in a comic book, which I know a lot of people hate, but I personally like. And then there's the other route, which is just committing 100% to the reality that you're creating, which I feel like this movie does, which I really like. Like while we were watching it, I said to Craig, I'm like, I can't tell if this is really cool or really stupid. And I kind of like, I really like, I like that about it. I like its commitment to itself. I also like, it's like that kid in high school who like wore a leather jacket every single day. And you were like, this kid's super lame. And then you were like, he's kind of
Stuff
pulling
guy.
it off though. Like, wait a minute, do I admire this guy a little bit? And it was like, I'm so conflicted because my cynical side wants to hate this, but like, anyways. That being said, like, so this is one of those movies that while I was watching it, I felt a connection to it a little bit. I felt like if I had seen this in the 70s or the 80s, or even if like this was a movie my dad had shown me when I was younger, like right when I was getting into the age where I could watch R-rated movies, this may be one of those movies where I'm like, this is one of my movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this could easily have been on my list of favorite movies, I feel like. But because I'm older now watching this, I definitely was like not as like drawn into it, I guess. But yeah, like I definitely liked it though. I definitely was like, I like this world. I like the simplicity of the plot. I like that it's like a group of dudes and they're all kind of have different personalities clashing with each other. And I don't know. I had a good time watching it. It's not a very complicated film, which again I actually admire about it. And you know, it's the world building is pretty minimal, but I find that actually is usually helpful for film. You know, like when watching a movie, I like movies where the world building isn't like wildly complicated. I mean, I feel like the Star Wars movies got worse and worse the more they expanded the universe out because the less sense it made, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about this movie, which is kind of weird.
It's very. We talked about this a bit. I feel like this is one of those movies that it lives like it is so late 70s. It's not even funny. Like you really couldn't take this movie out, keep its core, like it taking itself very seriously, and put the same kind of thing in a recent movie. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Like there's something about people dressed up as baseball players with Kiss makeup on.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what it was. We made fun of that, and then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, Walter Hill meant to do that. He likes Kiss, so.
All right. Heck yeah.
He likes Kiss? Well, that's too bad.
I know.
That's too bad, because that band sucks.
That's so bad.
See, he went on a 5-minute rant about how much Kiss sucks. I'm like, man, I didn't know anyone hated Kiss this much.
Yeah,
and then you just said it too.
Not a fan.
No, it's wildly overrated band. Like half of their songs have rock and roll in the title. That's no good.
They're like an accidental or purposeful parody that like people didn't think was a parody of, or they don't think it's a parody of rock and roll bands. They're like if Weird Al just did glam metal and didn't realize he was being Weird Al.
They're also just like a gimmick. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, that's really probably what I'm.
They're not talented, and the reason why they're popular is because they painted their face and wouldn't let anyone know what they looked like. And then when they finally showed everyone what they looked like, everyone went, "Oh,
these guys suck."
Oh, that's what you look like, huh?
Huh.
Why do I not care anymore? Interesting. Maybe that was all it was.
There's a part of the movie that's a little. Like, I noticed it was a little disjointed at the time, and so I did a little research after. The guy who sees the assassination, he's the one who witnesses, he knows who actually did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's the one who gets hit by the train.
Yeah.
That actor, it was like his only film role, as far as I know. He did not get along with Walter Hill, and vice versa.
Really?
And so Walter Hill ended up firing him. And so he rewrote that part and he had him just hit by a train.
Whoa.
So,
jeez.
Because if you notice, they're kind of setting up where he's going to be he's holding the girl's, I forget what the girl's name is. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Mercy.
Mercy. He's kind of holding Mercy's hand and they have a little bit of interaction. And then, so he was the one who's meant to have a relationship with her. And then immediately after that, she goes with
Swan,
the main guy, with Swan. And so, Walter Hill says, yeah, we gave a lot of his stuff over to Swan because it just wasn't working out. And so he says he feels bad about it now. He would have done it differently, but it does kind of like they start the storyline. He witnesses the assassination and they just kill his character off. So it's like, why did you even have that in the movie if that doesn't pay off in any way, shape, or form?
And then later on, the main, like the gang which Cyrus is the leader of is the one who basically puts the hit out on the Warriors because they think it's the Warriors. And then like later on, there's a scene where the leader of that game, it was something Furies maybe, or
Furies, yeah.
Is like somebody actually saw Cyrus get killed, and they pan over, and it's just some random guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, was that like maybe that was supposed to be at one point Fox, you know?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it was one of those weird things. I'm like, oh, that guy just got hit by a train. Wait, what? Like, this is weird. So yeah, there's a couple of things in there. Yeah, I had never seen any of Walter Hill's other movies. He did like 48 Hours and I think like Southern Comfort. I don't know.
That's a
There's a
drink.
couple of them. A lot of those kind of movies, though. Streets of Fire. So I'd like to see more of his stuff.
I don't know any of the things you've just said.
You know 48 Hours, Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy?
I mean, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, so yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
You know what? This showed up in the people also watch section.
It's
Also,
just
a movie
buddy
about a
cop
football
movie.
player who died but wasn't supposed to, and then goes back in a different body or something. I would like us to watch that one. It sounded bad.
he was one of the producers on Alien.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
I think he was the. Wait, let me check something real quick.
And he wrote Alien 3.
Yes.
And he did the story of Aliens.
Yes.
Oh,
That's what it was. He was the writer on Aliens.
okay.
Yeah, The Driver, Southern Comfort, Red Heat, Brewster's Millions. There's some duds in there.
It doesn't look like he's done anything good since Aliens. How about Johnny Handsome? Do you think that sounds like a good movie? Betcha it is.
That sounds pretty okay.
Well, boy, it's starring Mickey Rourke, Forrest Whitaker, and Morgan Freeman.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke
That could
before
be-
he looked like he
Is
got
that-
ran over in the
I was
face.
gonna say, is that Mickey Rourke when he was like unbelievably handsome?
A little after that, 1989.
Okay.
So he's getting, but he's Johnny Handsome.
It's true. He
He's
could have been Johnny
Handsome.
Handsome. Yeah, he is Johnny Handsome in it. What are we talking about?
We're talking about
there
gangs.
was
We
there was
were
a
just
gang,
literally reading the Wikipedia pages
I
we
know.
found.
There is a gang that is wearing overalls in
Yes.
this
Oh
movie.
yeah.
We didn't talk about them.
The
The
leader.
roller skate overall boys.
Yeah, no, well, only the
Did
leaders
you
wearing
guys-
roller skates. And
Yeah.
we were watching it, and Craig's like, I wonder what their name is. And I was like, I'm going to guess either the Little Brothers or the Dennis the Menaces. Or maybe Craig said Dennis the Menace, but it was like,
It's the punks.
it's the
It was
punks.
the Punks.
That's the worst name for that. All the other ones are like, well, I guess not all of them make sense, but like the orphans are wearing like
Orphan
the same
outfits.
weird green shirt
Yeah.
and like
Do you,
pants. Then these guys, they're wearing overalls. They have a uniform,
it is like
and they're
literally
the punks.
the 1930s definition of punk. Which is
Ah,
just like a little
I,
bratty kid.
I called them the Lost Boys. That was my guess.
Yeah.
But how I described it is when someone takes a domain name before someone's famous, and then they have to get paid to get rid of it.
Yeah.
when they chose the punks, that wasn't a word. They were just
Yeah.
like,
Because like another group gang showed up with like a bunch of mohawks and like leather jackets with like studs and stuff. Was like, we're the punks. It's like, well, you can't be the punks. They're the punks. Are you kidding me? Look
Those
at
assholes
us.
with the overalls.
Look, have you
they should
seen
be the
us?
Hicks,
They should be the little kids. You know,
the roller skate overall
the,
boys.
the lollipop guild. You know, the bubblegum gang.
That's absolutely the gang I would have joined, though. I would
Oh,
have been overalls and roller skates all day.
so the other background thing that I like is the actor who is kind of the jokey member of the gang of the
Mhm.
Warriors.
Yeah.
He played that up because he was originally supposed to get killed by the Lizzies.
Oh.
Like
Oh.
basically every interaction they were gonna have one member with. There was only supposed to be like 3 members left by the end of the movie, and they decided to change that. But like he was supposed to get knifed, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just play up because I have to make my character stand out more."
Yeah.
Because I don't think he had much of a characterization. So he's like, "I'm the funny one." They're like, "Oh, I guess I won't kill you." It's like, "Ooh, okay."
Yeah. His name was Vermin. The
Vermin.
character's name. Yeah.
I feel like I would want a nicer nickname. Like Rembrandt I liked Rembrandt because he's like the young kid and he just spray paints, he just tags.
Oh
They
yeah,
call him Rembrandt.
yeah.
And I like that. I don't
That's a
think
good
I'd want to
one.
be called Vermin or Ajax because I mean, it's a cleaner, so he's
Mhm.
like the cleaner because he's the big guy that fights all the time. So I guess that does make sense.
Yeah.
I don't like it for me though. What would I be? The cool guy.
So
Big
what was
big
the
Philly,
name?
Sweet Philly. That's it. That's my
Luther.
nickname. You guys got to call me that now.
Yeah. So Luther is the villain of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Luther doing the warriors come out to play. That was ad-libbed. He just thought that the scene needed something. It wasn't menacing enough, so he did that.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I just came up with this. I'm like, this is very weird, and I don't know why this is intimidating, but I guess some people think it's like this is the iconic part of the movie. I'm just like,
yeah.
okay, why are you doing that? This is more annoying than anything else.
Jack said she was reading because she watched it with me. That it was like from his childhood, his like neighbor used to say it like that to him,
Oh, jeez.
and like he found it creepy and unsettling. Maybe I don't know.
I
I
mean-
definitely can see where it'd be creepy and unsettling,
I
especially knowing that character.
Yeah, the character
That's true.
Luther is unhinged. Like he
Absolutely.
shoots Cyrus simply because he's like, why
he
not?
likes to do it.
You know,
yeah,
he
he's like, I
wanted to
like
do-
to do
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, I like to do things like that. And I think I was expecting to feel really menaced by it because I had heard that it was like a really creepy moment. But it is one of those things where it's like it's been done and done over and talked about so
Yes.
many times that like the impact of it is gone, you know?
Yeah, it was gone.
So
There's
like
nothing.
I feel like though if like that character had just like out of nowhere done that, like I think that's the thing, like what he's doing is weird and like he's
Yeah.
like getting really upset doing it. I feel like if you didn't know it was coming and you didn't know he was going to do that, for have him do that I think would be like a moment where you go like, "Oh, yeah, this guy's unhinged. Yeah, he seems
Yeah.
real dangerous. That's a strange
Yeah.
thing to do. It's a very weird thing to be doing right now."
Why did they have those bottles?
Yeah.
Why did he put them on his fingers? Why is he saying it like this? Why is he saying it again? Why is he saying it a third time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of I could totally see where it would be. I mean, I definitely still thought it was creepy, but like you kind of have to work to make it feel creepy now because I've
Right.
seen it in a million things. I was telling Jack, I feel like this movie, and we've had this happen a couple of times where we've watched like a movie that everyone talks about
Right.
that I have not seen,
hmm
where like you watch it and you're like, oh, I've seen this bit. Oh, I've seen somebody do this bit. Oh, I've
Right.
seen somebody. This was kind of another one of those where like a lot of like maybe not plot points, but like I feel like a lot of bits I've seen things either identical or like painted with the same hues, the same like color scheme. I love the general plot of this movie. Just like they're behind enemy lines and they have to get back home.
Right. Band of Brothers things.
Yeah.
I'm a big sucker for anything. It's like group of dudes, different dynamics. They gotta stick together to win the day.
You could take that and remake it 1,000,001 times, and probably 90% of them
They
would be
have. They
pretty
do.
okay. Yeah, no, they've done it. They've
This-
done it, but
yeah.
like it just works. Like that's
Yeah.
a good. I like that. I like that plot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
The other
Make
part
a
I
space
like
western.
is when they're on the train at the very end, and it's you see the kids coming out of. They're like they went to a dance or something like that.
Like prom
Yeah.
or whatever.
They went to prom, and so you're just kind of seeing the class divide right there.
right.
And
They immediately get off the subway at the next stop, or the L at the
Yeah.
next stop.
Yeah. One
Freaking
of my
jerk
favorite
rich
moments
people.
was when Swan and Fox are talking to the orphans. The orphans, which is like a lesser gang that wasn't invited to the summit, and the warriors are walking through the orphans' territory, and I don't remember exactly the interaction. He's like, "You've never heard," like the orphan guy is like, "You've never heard of us?" And then Fox is like, "Yeah, no, yeah, I have. You guys are the big orphans, like you guys are real scary guys." And he like then shoots a look to Swan as if to say like, "I don't know, I'm like full of shit." right now, you know.
Yeah.
and then the orphans like kind of buy it, and I was like that's funny.
I wish Swan had more characterization.
I don't. I actually
Really?
Yeah.
You liked his stoic.
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
liked him as this like over serious, like super like takes himself way too seriously kind of hero character that like you know what he felt like to me, and it may just be because I played a lot of these. He felt like the silent protagonist of a JRPG or something.
For me, he was like John Wayne. He was slapping a lady around.
Oh yeah.
He was very sure of himself. Yeah, that was like the trademark old protagonist.
See, what I liked about it is that he wasn't an old guy. You know, like I think if he had been John, you know, Wayne's age, like an older
Well, no,
age.
I just mean like that sort of
Yeah.
mentality to him.
Yeah. I think actually you made me realize something of maybe the reason why I am forgiving of this movie in some ways is because I remember being 16, 17 and like thinking I was super cool, you know? And so like watching this as an adult, I'm like kind of like I'm not I don't think I think they're just being, you know, what am I trying to say? Like I'm forgiving of them like thinking like they're taking themselves super seriously because that's what teenage boys do. They always take
They're just
themselves
dumb
super
kids.
seriously, you know?
Yeah.
And to me there's something very relatable about that. So like Swan always being like acting like a super hard ass all the time, you know, to me is very relatable because I remember when I would be like, no, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm not cold. I'm just wearing shorts in the wintertime. I'm not cold. I'm cool. You
Wow,
know?
I feel attacked.
That was a personal attack on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. That's a Phil thing. I was just talking about that at work. That I was a wear shorts in the winter kid.
Yeah.
And I listen. Young me would have told you that he wasn't cold. He was a little bit.
I think that was the part that bothered me. What I wasn't bothered that you were wearing shorts. You know, like I was like, "Oh, Phil, aren't you cold?" And you'd be like, "No." I'm like, "You're not cold?" "No, I'm not cold
Now-
at all." I'm like, "Can you not feel with your legs?" And you're like, "No, I can, and I'm not cold." I'm like, "Phil, just say you're cold. It's fine."
Now listen, I do want to say I maybe was less cold than someone else.
Probably.
But
As a guy who
I was probably a little cold.
I mean, it was just to me, it was just, you know, it became a game at that point. Like, how do we get Phil to say he is cold, or how far is Phil gonna take this lie?
Forever.
Yeah,
I do remember
Until
you
he's
bring that up a
33.
couple times, and then you went to the UP. He's like, "Yeah, I lost it. It's too cold."
Yeah. Oh, it killed me. It got so cold that now I just get cold all the time. It sucks.
Cold-blooded.
It broke
anyways,
me.
do we want to give this movie a rating? Are we there yet?
I
Yeah.
think so. I
Yeah.
think we can be there. Will, you picked it.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a number out of a number, and I won't tell you which numbers. You know?
Are you all right? What's going on with you?
Yeah.
What did that mean?
I'm good.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna give this movie 4.5. Can you count, suckers?
You son of a
Out of 5.
damn it! That was gonna be mine.
Okay.
Well,
you
you
did
should have
it
made
way
me go
better, though.
first.
You did it way better, so it's probably for the best.
Okay, I'm gonna do mine so Phil doesn't steal mine. Okay, I'm gonna give this movie 4 out of 5. I'll shove that bat up your ass and turn you into a popsicle.
That's a good line.
Okay, I'm gonna give this also a 4 out of 5. Since when are you a f***ing diplomat?
I gave this one. I think I gave this one a little higher, right? 4.5. You guys
Yeah.
did 4s. Yeah, it's because I think this movie is it. I felt like it was going into like it's a movie where I feel like, yeah, you should watch this. Yeah, check this movie out. Definitely check this movie out. Like, It's not my favorite movie,
It's-
but like I'm gonna think
it's-
about it. You know?
It's absolutely worth the watch for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This
I-
should be on everyone's list of like you should see this. It's fun. It's
I
good.
debated buying the PlayStation 2 Rockstar game because it's
I've
on
heard it's
sale.
very good.
Sale right now, and I was like, I've heard it's very good as well. And then I
Yeah.
like looked at clips of it. I'm like, ooh, very good for PlayStation 2.
2.
Right.
Yeah.
one of the best systems of all time.
Yeah, but
So-
Rockstar to play, I was like looking at it. I was like, this is gonna be clunky and hard to play, and I'm gonna give up on it
Oh,
right away.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's gonna
I've
be,
had that thought
Yeah.
about what like playing the Godfather game
Yeah.
again. I'm like, oh, this is super fun. I'm like, well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
this is
right.
still fun.
I mean, some games can get away with it, like Final Fantasy X, still fun to play because it's mostly menu based and all that stuff.
Give me an example that is not a JRPG.
Can't. No, can't. That's the thing. Oh no, shoot! Kingdom Hearts is a JRPG.
Yeah.
Why
what do
did
you
I
think, like Grand Theft Auto 3?
I don't know. I haven't replayed that, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, no, I've only just replayed JRPGs from that era. Anyways,
Nice.
So are we gonna play a game of?
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Potatoes
I am
from
ready.
potatoes?
I have been practicing. I'm gonna smoke you this time,
So
Will.
we're gonna play a game, around a session of a game of
A game session.
a game session of rotten from my head from my head to my toes, nailing this, just doing
Yeah,
so great.
Yeah, you're doing great.
And for those of you listening along at home, you may remember that I have trounced Phil nearly every time. I don't think he's
Yep.
won once, and last time it was a complete shutout.
Yeah,
I got
it
them all.
won't be this time. I
Yep.
will get. Well, it'll be a complete shutout, but in my favor, I'm gonna win. I've been practicing.
I mean, honestly, this is always what happens. The second somebody notices that I'm winning, I lose hardcore.
yeah.
Will, you're really good at this. Oh, you want to see me fail at it? Here we go.
All right,
anyways.
first one from 1990, Home Alone.
Ooh,
93.
95.
Phil gets it 67%.
What? That
Yes.
movie's good though.
I know, but
I
I thought
know.
it was a hit and everyone liked it.
No,
No?
it's one of those
Wow.
movies where like
Wow.
we have millennial blinders on, like
Well,
Hook.
Oh, well, no.
well, okay,
Hook-
we rewatched
we
Hook. I do
rewatched
not
Hook.
have blinders on anymore.
Okay.
I've rewatched Home Alone and I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, I've rewatched Home Alone
Yeah.
a million times. I still love
Yeah.
it.
All right, whatever. Stupid
Uh,
critics.
Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh, God. Okay.
Ooh, 79.
62.
Phil
Phil has
on
it.
the button.
Really?
On the button. 79%. 75% audience score.
Oh, no. It's happening.
Okay. From 1995, Pierce Brosnan as James Bond in GoldenEye.
Oh, I
Ooh.
don't know. I have no idea.
81.
You know what it is? I think you just got to go first. You're just being quicker than me on this.
Maybe that's it.
81. I'm going to say 65.
Phil, something's going on. 80%.
Wow.
I told
good
you,
job, Phil.
I've been practicing. I have a list of all of the Rotten Tomato scores, and I just look at it every day.
Man,
I'm gonna get fired. I'm doing it at work too.
you don't really work, though. So
Okay.
I work at the office.
One day a
Harry
week.
Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh, you are picking the worst movies for me on this.
Sorcerer's Stone. That's gonna
It's
be
another Christopher Columbus film, and they didn't like
Yes,
his
it is.
his other one. Is it
84.
Chris Columbus? He's not. He doesn't go by Christopher Columbus.
I think he goes by Chris Columbus.
Anyways, what did you say, Phil?
84.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the score. You found the trick to the game. Just say 84 every time. God damn it.
I said 81 last time.
Still, it's the same. Oh no.
Come on, Will.
81.
81.
Really?
Dang.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, thank
Almost
God.
had a shutout.
Oh man.
Oh, you're back in.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Phew. Okay, let's see. Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh,
Ooh,
42.
100%. I'm sticking with that final answer. Done.
What did you say, Will?
42.
Phil, do you want to give a real answer or you want to be 100%?
My real answer is 100%. That film's a
Good win.
masterpiece.
Okay.
This is why you do Price is Right rules. Damn it.
No, we're just doing closest. So Will gets it at 64%.
Okay. Ah, phew.
Incorrect.
Okay. Here's one. Okay, Will, I'll throw you a softball. But not really. Sort of.
That's the worst thing to say to me.
I
I can't
know.
believe you said that.
Will,
just
you're gonna get
jinxed
this
me.
one.
From 1986, Labyrinth.
Oh. Ooh.
86.
Oh, no, Phil. It's got to be like 55.
I've never actually seen it.
It is 75%.
Oh,
so
no
Phil
way!
wins it.
So, Phil, that's 4 points for you.
What was that 4?
Yeah,
Is it only 4? Okay. So it's only 4.
I think so. Unless I missed one.
Yeah.
No, that's
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 2002, starring Mila Jokovic,
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil.
Oh, God.
just the first one.
Just the first one.
Lost it.
76.
Audience score of 67%. I'll give you that.
Oh, I said 76. I regret it, but I can't take it back.
I'm going to go 55.
36%.
Yeah, it's a bad.
It's bad.
We went and rewatched those. Not super good.
1985, starring Sean Astin and Josh Brolin. It's The Goonies.
Oh, ooh.
Is that Steven Spielberg who does that one? Did that one? No.
No, that is gosh, who directed Donner?
Oh.
69.
82.
76%, so Will has it.
Hooray! We are tied.
Oh my god.
Oh my
This is the
God.
game point.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, here's a good one. Okay, this should shake it up. 1965, Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer. The Sound of Music.
Oh, 99.
Oh, damn it. 90.
It's like a near perfect movie.
Phil, you let it go at the end. Sound of Music, 83%.
Oh, that's fucking horse. That
I
movie's
won.
better than 83%.
I won.
You won.
That movie's got all of it.
Phil, you had a near perfect run going into this. And then Will said the words, I never win.
I got cocky.
You
It
got
was like watching
little
somebody
Dicky.
run up a flight of stairs, get to the very top,
And then
beef,
fall.
hit their chin on every step going down.
Oh man.
Phil, you'll get it someday. Just keep practicing.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
gonna
stop
quit my
doing
job
the-
so I can.
You know what? You screwed yourself twice. You really is you.
The Hot Tub Time Machine.
I said this last time we did this. I said, like, Phil, neither one of us take this all that seriously, but I take it just a little bit more seriously than
Yep.
you.
Yep.
And it was the Hot Tub Time Machine and the Sound of Music where you just.
I think that movie genuinely is better than a 83 or whatever it was, 86.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not denying that. It's what critics think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
that's
know
fair.
that there's some like conservative going like, you know,
Are
she
not
was-
really like a woman that
sings.
I don't like that women sing in this. She was a nun, you know, and then she wasn't, which means she renounced her religion. No good
Which means
there.
she's going to hell.
Also, they made those Nazis seem real awful, and I don't care for that. You know.
Will Chotis, everyone.
Hey, now, wait a minute. Okay,
Hey now.
what are we watching next? Fill up my cup, Kessel.
Okay. I didn't get a recommendation from anyone,
Oh,
so I'm
dear.
having trouble picking.
Hmm.
I've had a weird hankering. That might not be the right word.
Hmm.
We
Um,
gave you a movie to pick.
We did.
What movie was that?
What
Exactly.
was it? It was like
Exactly.
a Disney movie, like a live action Disney movie. like Rocket Man or something like that.
Huh.
God,
Oh,
what
cool.
was it?
What was this?
This is great
When was
radio,
this?
guys. We're really nailing
You mentioned
this.
it on the last video, the last
Oh.
last one.
I've been
Yes.
wanting to watch something with Mads Mikkelsen. You guys like that guy? I
Mhm.
like that guy.
Oh yeah. Oh man, is it oh god, the last round? What the hell is that one called?
Okay, so it's called The Last Round.
Yeah.
It was maybe that one. There was also the Pusher, which is like a trilogy. It's also Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive, which I really liked. So I'm kind of curious about watching that one. But I also want to watch The Last Round. So this is kind of a tough, or Another Round.
Another round. Yep. So
Ugh.
of what if from him, the ones I've heard are really good are The Hunt and Another Round I saw and I love that one. Pusher?
Yeah.
Pusher, 1996.
I think maybe I'm leaning towards that because that has both. I want to watch a Mads Mikkelsen movie, and I
Yeah.
really liked Drive, so I'd be curious to see more from Nicholas Winding Refn.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
looks
think
good.
that's what I'm going to pick. We're
What
going to
is
pick
it?
Pusher
Pusher?
from
Okay.
1996. It should be on Hulu.
It is Hulu, Tubi, Canopy, Redbox. There's
Cool. Okay.
the first review I'm looking at on Letterboxd, a Danish Pulp Fiction. So
Cool. Yeah, it's supposed to be, I think, pretty good. I like it. This is his debut, so this is kind of like fun to start with. I've not seen him in a lot of things. I just every time I see him, I'm like, I like that guy. He's just
I'm
in a lot
looking
of
at-
stuff.
I love him. He's great in Rogue One and a bunch of other stuff. But the director, I've seen Drive. I feel like I have to watch it again.
I really like Drive. I know it's like almost not cliche. It's like almost not. It's like not cool to like Drive. Maybe
It's like the Fight
got a
Club.
vibe. Yeah, it's like Fight Club. It's like people
It's like Fight Club.
took the wrong message from it that like
Yeah.
it's cool to be violent. I really like that movie because the violence is so horrible, but it's like super quick and unexpected, and it just like smacks you right in the face, and you have no like time to like appreciate that it's about to happen and like ready yourself, and then it happens and you have a lot of time to deal with the fallout. I think it's a really
Yeah.
good movie.
Yeah, his other ones. I mean, I've heard of his other movies: The Neon Demon, Only God Forgives, Bronson.
He did Valhalla Rising, which also has Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh yeah.
Which I haven't seen, but I've heard good things. So maybe I'll just
There's-
go on a Mads Mikkelsen kick.
There's 3 Pusher movies.
Yeah, there's
And
3.
he directed all of them.
Yeah,
And Mads is in the second one, so I guess we have to watch Pusher too.
yeah, Pusher 2.
Oh, actually, this has really good ratings on it too.
I think it's supposed to be a really good trilogy.
Actually, this is better ratings than the first one.
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
And the third one. Yeah, yeah. Watch all 3
Okay.
of them.
Okay, cool. Well, that's my choice.
All
The
right.
Pusher, or just Pusher.
Thank you for liking and subscribing to the podcast. We're on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to describe to us who you think the Ninja Turtles would be in this movie, would they
Which-
actually be like
Which gang is which Ninja
which
Turtle?
gang would they be in?
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of their own gang. Just a pizza flamed one. Oh boy, I'm going to leave. Pizza themed one. All right. It's my turn to talk, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to cut all this so I sound cooler.
Too late.
This episode was brought to you by Joe Kessel.
Hey.
Hooray! Thanks, Joe. If you want to help support us and hear your name shouted out on the podcast, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/mumbleandtruck.
If you like what you heard, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Play.
Yeah.
We won't forget about you Google Play users.
Yeah. But we
that's
we
all.
want to, but we just
we
can't.
want to, but we can't because you keep telling us about it. That's all for this episode. I'm Phil Kessel.
I'm Will Chodas.
And I'm Craig Norland.
Go watch The Warriors.
Warriors, come out and play!
Okay, you're right.
Oh,
It is
pretty
creepy.
good. That's pretty good.
Movies with My Best Friend Phil is brought to you by Mumble and Shrug Productions, the creators of very serious video production for very serious clients. This episode was recorded and edited by Will Chodas. Research provided by Phil Kessel and Craig Norland. Cover art was designed by Will Chodas and Phil Kessel provided likeness. For more content like this, visit mumbleandshrug.com.
Hvad så? Skal der handles? Coke, speed, piller, hash. Jeg giver dem de 45. Nu giver dem de 45, sagde jeg! Jeg skal se, hvad jeg kan gøre. Hvis du skaffer dopen til i morgen, så henter jeg den her.
Skal vi snakke, eller hvad? Så giver mig 50.000.
Hvad det fanden er det, mand? Fordi politiet fik mig i går.
Du sidder der med 200 gram, ja? Men du spiller mig 180, ja.
En chance til, Frank. En chance til. 2 timer skal lægge 230 på bordet.
Frank, du spiller mig 230.000.
Hvad er der nu, gang?
Fuck! Fuck, fuck, fuck!
Hvad laver du for tiden?
Hvor finder noget arbejde?
Er du sulten?
Har du nogen penge?
Brought to you by Mumble and Shrug Productions.